Hello, my colleagues. Last Sunday marked the third anniversary of the passage of the Dodd-Frank Act that brought the Consumer Bureau to life. As we take this chance to gather in one place, me in virtual reality, that is, I just want to thank each and every one of you for making the decision to bring your skills and your dedication to this special project. Together, we've formed a tremendous team working on behalf of American consumers, and I have deep confidence that we will, through this work, make life better for millions of others by improving the markets for consumer finance and household credit. The path forward to today has often been hard, but the struggles have made us stronger and better. Most important, we've shown that we will persevere in the face of whatever comes to deliver on our intended purpose as an agency that stands on the side of everyday Americans. It was moving for me to finally be confirmed as your director last week after 2 full years of steady persistence. All I ever asked for, worked for, hoped for during that long period was a simple up or down vote on the merits. But that would never have happened had the Consumer Bureau not earned the respect and the admiration of many. I did not do that. You did that. And I will always be clear about that in my mind. I'm deeply grateful to you. As your prize, however, you're now stuck with me for the foreseeable future. So let me say plainly that I could not be happier than to be working with the most talented group I've ever experienced, united in common purpose to carry out the mission and vision that we first crafted under the watchful eyes of Elizabeth Warren. From creating rules that have fundamentally reshaped the troubled mortgage market, to receiving and processing consumer complaints, to reaching out broadly to consumers and responsible providers, to promoting financial literacy, we're all playing our part in building this agency and helping consumers. In reality, we're still a brand new agency, only in our early childhood, but we're clear about what we're doing, we're growing in strength, and we know for sure that we are here to stay. It's a rare thing we all come to learn in life, to have the chance to do something you can find fulfilling, that makes a clear difference in the world. And to have the chance to do it with people who are good teammates in the sense that they make you and others around them better and more effective. But we all have the opportunity here at the Consumer Bureau. Former Deputy Director Raj Date once said that he believed people would see that working here is the best way to serve your country other than putting on a military uniform. In some sense, we're becoming a kind of domestic Peace Corps, capturing the same streak of idealism that has always inspired and animated that admirable agency. We will be just as admirable in our own right if we can remain true to our mission and vision over time. To achieve this, I believe we must make it a point to do 3 things. First, we must remain open and accessible to all points of view. The diversity of the consumers we serve must be matched by the diversity of our own ranks, not only in background and characteristics, but in experience and perspective. And we must remain good listeners, hearing all sides, judging them carefully, shaking off our own biases to the extent possible, searching closely for the truth amidst the din of competing voices. Second, we must stay true to our purpose and remain close to individual consumers. We must make real efforts to resist the mentality of inside the beltway and keep uppermost in mind who it is that we're working for, our mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters. We're working for people who struggle to understand their financial choices and have little margin for error. We're working for people who aspire to more opportunity and are willing to take sensible risks to achieve it, including by venturing into the sometimes hazardous consumer credit markets and borrowing against the future to make something more of their lives. We must focus on the fact that even as we build new and better protections for consumers, we cannot make lending so difficult that we choke off their access to credit and leave them without options. We will succeed in this task only if we make sure we are running up against the real consumer experience with regularity, by paying close attention to what consumers are complaining about, by reading the Tell Your Story accounts they submit to us on our website, and by getting out amongst them to feel and see and hear the reality of their lives. I worry that this agency is a well-paid banking regulator, and I want to make sure we stay in touch with the people who need us most to do our work and do it well. Third, we must recognize that no matter how effective we are, we can only do so much ourselves to accomplish our proper goals. Inevitably, we need good partners to have the kind of impact we hope and intend on behalf of more than 300 million Americans. And so just as each of us needs to work at being a good partner to the other members of our team, the Consumer Bureau needs to work at being a good partner to public officials at all levels of government and to nonprofit groups that can help us carry our messages and our tools into all of their communities. We cannot do that by ourselves. If people are excited to work with us, if they find that experience worthwhile and fulfilling, then we can project our efforts across this vast country and deserve to have our efforts crowned with success. As you can see around you today, we've grown rapidly in our short lifetime to be better able to accomplish these objectives. We're now more than 1,300 strong, but we still have a ways to go before we will reach our probable steady state. It is still a challenge to be building and operating this agency at the same time, especially because, as Holly Petraeus recently noted, we've had people shooting at us the whole time. But you all have been focused and relentless and unflappable throughout. You've kept your eye on the ball, and it shows. Many people outside this agency, including some of our best friends all along, are very proud of your work so far. So look at all that we're doing. So far, our consumer response team has fielded over 175,000 complaints from consumers all over the country seeking our help. The release of our consumer complaint database has emphatically shown our commitment to openness and accessibility, while also providing a valuable tool for consumers and others to get a more comprehensive picture of what is going on in the consumer financial marketplace. And the complaints we have received have enabled us to identify acts of consumer fraud that justified our intervention. A recent enforcement action against 2 companies engaged in deceptive marketing and lending practices targeting members of our military came to us after a service member's father notified us about what he believed was a deceptive practice. Because he believed that the Consumer Bureau was there to help, he made it possible for us to do so. Over the last year, our supervisory work has been making notable progress in changing the compliance culture of many financial institutions, especially on the non-bank side. From the moment we just opened our doors, and then later from the day I was appointed as director, people were ready to take on this challenge. What I'm most proud of is that we've gotten better and better as we've moved forward. Not the elusive goal of perfection, but the more tangible goal of continuous improvement has been our aim. And the often related work done by our enforcement team has returned $432 million back to consumers. These matters have involved companies that profited from breaking the law at the expense of ordinary Americans, except that now we're there to protect and watch out for consumers. We've addressed issues for people deceived into buying questionable add-on products when purchasing credit cards. We've been rooting out fraud in the mortgage market. And we've sought to ensure that consumers can get clear information and fair treatment in many and varied areas of the world of consumer finance. Built into all this work also has been our deep integration with fair lending, both in supervision and enforcement. And we have much good work well in progress. We're also striving to be creative in how we communicate with consumers. Our innovative website has become a key way in which we inform the public about our work. Our online presence is marked by first-rate consumer-facing tools like Paying for College and Ask CFPB, while at the same time it's given us a platform to communicate with industry about how to implement our new rules more easily. And by building our national and local partnerships around the country through External Affairs and CEE, we're managing to make steady progress spreading awareness of our work to consumers across this country. Perhaps our most significant success to date has been the matter-of-fact way we went about fulfilling the gargantuan task of writing new mortgage rules required by Congress. We not only did that, but we met the very demanding deadlines set in the law, which we now know was an incredible achievement. People really extended themselves to make that happen, and perhaps it was just as well we didn't know any better than to just carry out this Herculean labor as though it were merely another daily chore. But not only did we do that, we did it very well. The other agencies who consulted with us have now shown great respect for our work by accepting it as the template for the future of the mortgage industry. Both consumer groups and industry, who rarely agree on much, have praised the results, a feat that is still astonishing to contemplate. And in this same period, we wrote new rules that carried out the first consumer protections ever for the remittance market, rules that are now being considered for adoption in other countries around the world. Through all this work, we've been expanding our numbers and building our processes, yet even during this very difficult initial period, We've scored clean audits, developed sound policies, and avoided mistakes. That does not just happen by accident. It requires thoughtfulness and care and enormous effort. We've had all of these from our outstanding team. Sometimes that's made it harder to get things done, I'll be the first to admit. But there's no question in my mind it has made us better and it's been crucial to enabling our progress. Throughout our life to date, we've had to fend off criticism and carping from naysayers, some of whom have been deeply opposed even to the concept of the Consumer Bureau. But we've handled these opponents in the right way, not by ignoring them, but by listening closely to what they are saying and finding in it opportunities to learn and adapt and improve. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we will face them and meet them as one united team. And we will continue to earn our way forward with the work we do and the value we deliver for consumers. I hope and intend that you will find the Consumer Bureau to be a great place to work and a great place to develop your talents and abilities. Whether your career here is long or short, in my case, I got a better idea about that finally last week. We will want you always to look back upon your time here as one of the high points of your careers and your lives. You have my commitment that this organization will care about its people and try to listen carefully to what you need and want in your workplace. Of course, there have been missteps as we built this entire agency from scratch, but we want very deeply to create a great place for you to work. And I will continue my own efforts to bring us closer together, despite our growing size and despite the fact that we're scattered across the whole nation, both constantly and occasionally. Be patient with us, but not too patient. And try to be understanding as well. We will too. For those who will go on to pursue new opportunities at some point, that's only natural with the caliber of people we have here. You will always be highly sought after for your knowledge and your skills, and rightly so. But we will continue to bring aboard new dynamic people with bright minds, a fierce dedication to this work, and a passion for our mission. And I am confident you will find that special mission of protecting consumers unmatched anywhere else. Let me close by sharing with you a quote from Horace Mann that I ran across at the National Credit Union Museum on my recent visit. One of America's great educators, he admonished us all, "Be ashamed to die until you've won some victory for humanity." Here, we're all fortunate to have that chance. Thank you.